in Musictown, Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that growler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
And we are live, episode number 230, Better on Draft podcast. My name is Ken here. Welcome into the studio. Rob and Nick are off, which is perfectly fine because we have such a great show ahead of us. We are excited to have everyone here in studio. Still obviously quarantining, so that's why you see Dan over here. How are you, Dan? What's going on? How is Arizona, and what is the weather today?
I wasn't ready, dude. It's a beautiful day. The Coyotes just knocked off the Preds in overtime. See you guys later. Too bad you haven't won a cup. So great day here out today. First time in almost 10 years they've won a series. Weather-wise, it's about 110. It's pretty nice out. I was just out there. It's pretty mild day today.
I still don't understand like that whole 110 degrees and it's a mild day. It's, just a little bit. What are you drinking?
I'm taking care of the Nick situation here since he's not here. Went back to the well on the La Cumbre Malpais Stout. Great stout there, especially as it warms up. Also went with a White Russian coffee stout here for the double fisting. I think I'll open that now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wendy, how are you? What's going on?
I'm fantastic. It's been an awesome week, and I am super excited to be drinking a Neapolitan milk stout, though my 6-pack turned into a 4-pack very quickly because I brought it into work so that it wouldn't warm up in my car because I bought it at lunch, and my coworker was like, "That's my favorite," so I shared.
Because you're a very, very good coworker. Well, I don't know if I would do the same, but I probably would. People ask me for beer, and I'll be like, of course, I want to share it. And that's kind of why we do this show, is because we love sharing our love for beer. For me, I'm doing your typical Ken. I've got multi-time Best in Show award-winning beer, Bonfire Brown. And next to it is another Bonfire Brown. So as you can see, Wendy and I are both drinking Saugatuck. That's because we actually have two guests here from Saugatuck. Michael, how are you? Why don't you tell us who you are and what you do over at Saugatuck Brewing?
How's it going? My name is Michael, and I am the Michigan and Ohio sales director for Saugatuck Brewing.
Michigan, and are you all over Ohio, or is it just like northwest Ohio?
The whole state.
Whole state, all right. And what are you drinking right now?
I actually I had to go to the cellar and get this out. 2016 bourbon barrel aged Imperial Neapolitan milk stout. I haven't had any samples this year because we've been making as much as we can make, or as fast as we can make, and it's just I can't even pull samples from the brewery right now.
Well, we'll definitely talk a little bit about that and how you guys are reacting to this whole COVID situation. But along with Michael here, we have PJ. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do with Saugatuck?
I'm PJ Goudreault. I am production manager, so I pretty much oversee grain to glass in the brewery and make sure everything gets in the can.
All right, so what, for those out there, obviously we know what a brewer is, what a salesperson is. What is your day-to-day as a production manager? Like, what is it that you're doing at the brewery itself?
So I pretty much, I would say, kind of oversee day-to-day operations. I go in there, make sure the can line is running. I order all the packaging, make sure everyone has the packaging for the day. Talk to the brewers, make sure, they're brewing what they need. They have the stuff they need. Make sure everything's going all right. I make the schedule so that Michael usually has the beer that he needs, and just kind of monitor incoming shipments, make sure quality's good, all that kind of stuff.
So in the life of a salesperson, this is over to you, Michael. How has your job changed now that, we're doing a lot more social distancing? Obviously I'm sure you're on-premise sales is a lot different than your off-premise sales. Like, what has changed for you over the past 5 months? Wow, it's already August.
Yeah, I mean, for the beginning there, we kind of were just laying low, and then we went into every other week, and it was pretty much calling on chains and off-premise, obviously with the on-premise being shut down for a while, and then since things kicked back on, it's just been tiptoeing around, trying to find those restaurants and bars that need draft. I mean, a lot of them are running half their draft lines or limited amount. Luckily, we have a beer called Blueberry Lemonade Shandy, which is a great summer beer, and that's been actually doing really well on draft considering the limited options out there right now. And then it's just been a lot of package. We've been going after those package stores, making sure all of our stuff in Meijer and Kroger and Spartan stores and the independents look good, and the shelves are stocked because that's where a lot of people are going to buy right now.
Are you seeing, or have you guys changed production in regards to? Well, I said it already. In regards to fucking A.
Like 2 minutes.
8 minutes. Thank you.
Sorry.
In regards to, like, we had Oddside on last week, and they were talking about how, for the most part, nearly everything has gone straight to canning. They're barely kegging anymore. Is that the same that you're seeing over there, PJ? Like, have you guys gone pretty much full on in regards to canning everything?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot more 6-packs go out than last year. I think we sold 6,000 cases of Shandy last July, and we did 8,000 this year. So just, up that much. And I would say we're making up for keg sales in cans.
Really? What's like, for... for some reason, it was double playing in my ears. Sorry for everyone listening. Nobody else could hear it, I don't think. But I'll throw it to one of you guys because that threw me off a little bit. Dan?
To one of us. Yeah. No, I think he meant one of us. I thought he was talking about you guys too. Yeah. So, let me switch it up a little bit because I wanted to ask you about something, because there's something similar out here a brewery does. Are you still doing the program where I can come brew my own beer at your facility?
Absolutely. Or no, right now, probably.
Oh, unfortunately not. We had to stop that in March, and we just can't, with the restaurant operating at this point in time and having multiple groups in that situation, we can't run the brew on premises, which is what I think you're speaking to, right?
Yeah, yes. Exactly. So we have a place out here that does that, not only for individuals if they want to do it, but for charities. And then they put the beer on tap when it's ready, sell it, and a portion of all the sales go to that. Do you guys do anything like that, or how does yours work when it is running?
Yeah, when we used to run it, we would do all kinds of, people do it for weddings, people do it for bachelor parties, we do it for charities. We've done a lot of different beers for charities, but yeah, I mean, since March, we've really been kind of shut down and unfortunately can't run a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, we normally can do it, just not right now.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, and I wasn't referring to right now. I think everything is kind of different right now, but it is good to... Go ahead.
Sorry.
Why don't you go ahead, PJ? What were you going to say?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just saying, yeah, it's terrible that we can't, do the things that we were doing before, but, working with what we got.
Do you guys plan on reopening it when things go back to whatever the new normal is going to be?
Yeah, for sure. We actually have people that had bought gift certificates to do the whole brew on premises that we still need to have brew and everything. So we're definitely planning, as soon as we can get it going again, we will.
What I'm curious about this because I've seen obviously the live setup that you guys have over there. What do people typically brew when they're doing their own brew at your facility? Are they brewing a specific style of beer? Can they choose whatever beer they want, or?
Yeah, they can. They pick their beer. We're pretty liberal with what we let people do. Lagers are a little tougher just because of fermentation restraints and everything. But other than that, we pretty much let people do whatever they want. We've had people bring in like their own fruits from their garden, all kinds of things. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a pawpaw fruit. It's like a Michigan thing. I'd never seen one till these guys brought it in. So yeah, we'll pretty much let people kind of play with recipes and guide them in the direction that we think that the beer should go. And it usually works out pretty good.
So that answers your question, Ken. You can go in there and make an alt beer if you choose.
Well, no, because the alt beer is a lager, and he said lagers are pretty.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Tough,
you're right.
Tough to go.
That's right.
Wasn't necessarily where I was going.
Little known fact about me is that the very first beer I ever helped to brew was at your facility.
Nice.
I was a part of a JC group that came in and did it. So, and I actually was really excited because I was judging books at the time, and they sent your beer in for us to taste sent their beer in for us to taste after we did it. So not only did I get to help brew, I got to taste it too. So that was awesome. It's a good memory that I have of your brewery.
Now, you guys recently, within the last year or so, I believe, purchased Gonzo's Big Dog over in Kalamazoo, rebranded it Saugatuck Kalamazoo. Did you guys keep any of the beers that Gonzo's had, or is it just Saugatuck 2.0?
So we kind of kept some of their mainstays that people really liked over there. They had a really good vanilla porter, which we've continued doing, which I think is probably their most famous beer. And then the brewer there had a really nice hazy IPA recipe that a lot of the patrons liked. So we've kind of kept that same tradition going, just with we've been switching up the hops every brew. So we'll do like all Michigan kind of like a smash beer with that recipe.
And for those of you who don't know, why don't you explain real quick what a smash beer is?
Smash beer is single malt and single hop. So we've been trying to keep some Michigan grains in there and definitely all Michigan hops.
Awesome. Yeah, the reason I asked that is I was listening to another beer podcast, and if you didn't have like a certified Cicerone level of knowledge of beer, I was so lost. So whenever you say or use some type of phrase, I always just want to make sure people can understand what it is, because I don't want them to be like, smash beer, what is that? Is that a video game that I can go play, or are we playing no downbeat Pikachus? Sorry, bad reference, bad pun. But
Ken.
And I don't know what he's talking about with any of those references.
I can tell you, there's probably 100 different Smash beers out there that make reference to the Super Smash Brothers video game series. So we'll just keep it at that. Michael, how do you manage such two large states? Like, how do you cover so much territory? Like, what's your
well, luckily, I have 3 people that work for me.
Okay.
So I have,
So it's not just you. It's not a one-man show.
No. I've got Jennifer over on the east side and Jason on the east side of the state. And Jason covers actually more of the southern Detroit area down and all the way through Ohio. And then Jennifer kind of covers more of the suburbs of Detroit and the north side of Detroit. And then I've got Ryan, who's kind of centrally located in the middle of the state, who covers West Michigan with me. And I take care of the super north and the super south west corner of Michigan because they're just kind of smaller and I can handle those on my own. But I have a team of 3 that help a lot. There was a time where I did most of all of Michigan and a little bit of Ohio by myself, and that is not fun. It's a lot of miles.
For sure. What's your big portfolio right now? You were talking about blueberry. Your blueberry lemonade shandy. Obviously, I'm drinking your bonfire brown. Wendy has the Neapolitan. What else are you guys selling off-prem?
So, our biggest SKU is going to be our seasonal SKU, which is our blueberry lemonade shandy, and then our peanut butter porter, which follows that. So those every 6 months switch up, and then right behind that, overall it's bonfire brown. Michigan sells a ton of Oval Beach blonde. And then we have our Neapolitan milk stout, our blueberry maple stout, which just got moved into cans this year, has done really, really well. Not this year,
It's delicious.
last year, somewhere, and this year. I don't remember. It's a weird year.
It all blends together, doesn't it?
PJ might jump in there and say, "Hey, no, it's the end of last year."
Are you guys doing any more SKUs now that you've kind of gone full force into off-premise sales, or have you just started to make more of the beer that you were already selling?
Yeah, we're sticking to the core right now. We've got a couple offshoots that we did of 60-ounce cans, but we focused primarily on the big ones that we just get as fast as we could. I mean, PJ was literally it was one of those perfect storms where everything kind of fell apart, and distributors were ordering. They went from $20,000 orders down to $2,000 orders, and so we kind of slowed down production because there just wasn't a big demand for it. And then all of a sudden things started to trickle up, and trickle was only brief, and then all of a sudden it was full bore. And I think PJ for 2 months now has been at 100% capacity, if not longer. We still can't catch up. I mean, we joke, and I said, PJ a couple weeks ago said, I think I'll be caught up, this date. And I said, don't say that. And sure enough, we get to that date, and we're like, yeah, we're not caught up. So
from the chat, we do have a question from Chad. He says, as a beloved Gonzo vanilla Java consumer, last update we heard was the vanilla was being tweaked. Can we expect that back in circulation under the Saugatuck label anytime soon?
I can't speak to as far as if it is going to be in cans and distribution. That is to be determined. And as far as the tweaking goes, we did go back to the original Gonzo recipe that had natural vanilla, real vanilla instead of extract or fake vanilla. So as far as the tweaking goes, the malt backbone is the same, but we went back to the original vanilla as we thought that was a better tasting version.
Now, one of your guys' big beers, you guys kind of do a little bit of promotion with it. Why don't you guys talk to us, either one of you, about the Lager of Love? How did that come about? What is that? Why does that beer exist? We'll say.
Me?
Either or.
So obviously,
I'll cover the beer stuff if you want to cover the.
Gotcha.
Stuff, Michael.
No, obviously, Saugatuck is a good community, a very diverse community. And Megan, who is our VP of marketing, who just had her first baby, she is very in touch and does a lot with the local community. And so, there was we wanted to do something for Pride. And so she actually talked to some local business owners and came up with, I believe, the recipe or style of beer. And then PJ went from there. And it's just something, we wanted to do and give back to our local community on top of, even as a national community. We've been, we'd set up some programs in Traverse City, over the Detroit side, out of state. We've done some things where, when we're able to kind of give back to the letter of the law, at least. We did some, proceeds went back to where we could do that. So it was just we wanted to give back into that community that's pretty strong in the Saugatuck Douglas area. And they said, hey, we want, and I believe the conversation was like, we don't want any fruity beer. Give us a drinkable, easy drinking beer. They said, just because we have the flag doesn't mean we have to have something fruity and crazy. We just want a good drinking beer. And I think that's why they came up with lager.
Yeah. I was told that they wanted something, craft Miller Lite. So we kind of went along those lines and, made a nice, easy drinking lager that I really enjoy. I was super unhappy that we didn't put it in cans this year, but next year I think we'll be back at it.
So I got a question here for you, because I'm looking at your current beers here. So I'm sort of talking about Lager of Love. I see you have a few coming up here. Oak Wizard, what made you guys come up with that? Because Imperial Brown, I'm going to love that. I know people like Kendall love that. I know your Campfire Brown is great, but I mean, not a lot of people, at least from my experience, I don't know if anyone else can say, don't drink a lot of brown. So what made you come up with an Imperial Brown to move forward with?
We've actually made that beer since I've started there, over 6 years.
The name's changed a few times.
Oh, the only reason I brought up, it says coming soon. I'm like, oh, okay, this might be new. So
Yeah, we
under
used to be part
snow.
of Snow Wizard. It was part of our seasonal series. And we've changed the name, but the recipe's been the same. It's always been an oak aged brown or imperial brown ale. So it's just kind of changed some labels and things before you put something on a can that's snow, and it's literally the minute it's not snowing or it's that beer's dead. So you tie yourself to a brick and throw yourself over the ledge, and you're stuck with that snow or autumn or winter.
You say that as I'm drinking a 10% coffee stout in 110-degree heat. So there is a market for it, but no, I completely get it. I know a lot of people prefer IPAs or lagers in the summertime. They just like their weaker beers for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything coming up in the near future for this fall, winter, as far as new barrel aged, or do you have anything you're planning coming up here?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk. I mean, we did do a really cool beer that we'll be releasing end of September, 1st of September. Yeah, sorry. It's going to be our anniversary beer. So this is our 15th year anniversary. We were going to do kind of a cool, fun party, but obviously that got put to a halt. But we are doing a cool barrel aged beer for that. So look for more of that information. I guess we could talk about it, but
yeah, you might as well talk. You want me to talk
for it? Let's hear it.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So all right, so we kind of have a staff favorite beer called Dominatrix. It's a Russian Imperial Stout. I'd say hands down is probably the favorite barrel aged beer that we make among the staff. So we decided to do a kind of a double version of that. We weren't able to hit the full 20% that it would need to be, but since it's 15 years, we did a 15% version of that, aged for 15 months in bourbon barrels, and it's turning out awesome. I'm really excited to throw it in some cans and get it out there.
Speaking, go on. Go on, Michael.
I would say, that'll be our anniversary release in that September. So it will be limited distribution as far as 4-pack cans. So look out for that. But go ahead. Sorry.
No. So you kind of brought something up which kind of triggered a memory of mine, and that you guys have a ESB called Third Bear. Didn't it used to have a different name, then it got changed, or why? Because we have a theory, and you can either confirm or deny the theory. But the theory goes that nobody understands ESB and it scares people away. So you guys changed the name from just ESB to Third Bear to try to see if more people would drink it. Are we correct in this theory that we've been promoting for probably 5 years now? Or
Yep.
Absolutely. I think, I mean, ESBs are tough style. I mean, people hear extra special bitter and like, oh, it's bitter, even though it's pretty far from the truth.
What is an ESB? Like, it stands for extra special bitter, but what kind of beer is it?
It's an English style ale. So traditionally it's pretty much an amber ale that I would say has a little more bitterness to it. But as far as bitterness goes, I mean, it doesn't even touch the low end of IPAs. Maybe today with hazy, non-bitter IPAs, but I would say it's a hoppy amber ale for the most part with English ale yeast.
Well, I'm very sad because I actually I was drinking it and apparently I did rate it. So
how many quarter stars did you give it?
I don't think Untapped had quarter stars back in 2014, but that was the last time I drank it. I gave it 3.5, which I guess is probably where the scale is if it's got a little bit bitterness to it. I don't like bitterness at all. Even like the ESB though, I think that's just a hard sell. And I think a lot of people just they hear it, as Michael said, like, it's people will see it and it'll automatically turn them off. When you say amber, though, I think a lot of people start thinking of more red ales, your Killian's, and main beer products like Killian's, Amberbach, and then going into more local stuff. I wanted to say Brick, but that doesn't exist anymore. Milking It Productions is not in existence.
Fat Tire, I don't know.
Fat Tire, there you go. That's a good one. God, I haven't had I had a fat tire recently, and I said, man, I haven't had one in a while. I should get more, and then I just never do.
Never do. Yeah, because there's so many other beers now.
It's available now.
That's the thing. How is it when you sell your beer in Ohio? Like, were people like, oh great, we want it, and then it just kind of fades away? Because that's how I feel what happened to Hoppin' Frog when they came into Michigan. Everyone's like, oh well, they're here now. I don't need it.
We've got some pretty great distribution partners in Ohio where they focus on things that work that, is a niche or, gap in their portfolio. So, once you leave Michigan, we're pretty much selling seasonal, and then it's blueberry and Neapolitan, or blueberry maple stout and Neapolitan. It's, and then some of our Cottonmouth Quencher does really well, our raspberry sour, in some of the other states out there. But yeah, once you leave Michigan, it's the niche beers that are filling a gap in these portfolios that these guys have. From, if you're in Michigan, we're selling a ton of blonde. I don't think we sell outside of Chicago. We sell zero blonde, because every other state's got their own blonde, and you got a blonde ale that you're comfortable with. You're going to drink your local blonde ale. But the Neapolitan, and Neapolitan is that kind of unique beer. I think Neapolitan's our most mimic beer, I want to say, as far as other breweries doing it, because we do own the rights to Neapolitan Milk Stout and Neapolitan Stout. So we were the original. And so that's, in Wisconsin and that Illinois area, we've seen a lot pop up there, like a Neapolitan style beer. So it's just, we're not going into Ohio with, hey, drink our blonde, drink our brown. And we do okay with brown sometimes, but it's, we're not going with our IPA, there's so many local IPAs. So it's just, we're hitting it hard with those beers that make sense for their market. So.
Are there a lot of IPAs out there? I don't see too many these days.
45.
No one makes IPAs. No.
I actually was at the World Expo judging, where the most recent one where you guys won for the Bonfire Brown, and I remember how when they do the judging. Have you guys ever been to the World Expo judging or seen the judging of your beers before?
I've never seen it.
So I'll give you the 30-second rundown. Basically, each table has 3 people. The way that the World Expo sets it up, they have someone who's BJCP certified, someone who's looking to get their certification, and then someone who's not. Just a casual beer drinker. The whole reason that they do that is because they want someone literally looking at the BJCP rules for the beer to make sure that people aren't getting into their own groove. So the guy who's, the professional beer taster isn't just like, this and this. Like it throws a little wrench in there. So when the IPA category came up, they had to do 10 beers per table, and then only like the top 2 or 3 of each went into the next round and the next round, because they had like 55, 60 IPAs, just standard IPAs. And then then it goes to like a second round and possibly a third round. I don't know how these people do it without destroying their palate. Like, that's just so much.
Lots of oyster crackers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had oyster crackers and water, obviously, to cleanse it. But it gets to a certain point where, I saw one table went from double IPAs to imperial stouts back to IPAs. And I'm like, how do you... It just doesn't... It blows my mind how they can judge it. And that's why, like, we do a thing on our show where we just don't judge anything. I don't like IPAs, so if I tell you your IPA is not good, it's not offensive. It's just not for me. But I also don't go on Untapped and rate, a IPA 1.5 stars and then say I don't like IPAs. But I'm curious, as a sales rep, I've heard mixed reactions, Michael. What do you think of Untapped in the 2020 culture? Is it a necessary evil? Is it something you just don't pay attention to?
So before this job, I was in the restaurant world and a GM and buyer, and did some really good craft sales. And I got to say, I used the Beer Advocate and those kind of things a ton just to kind of get some descriptives of what I have. And back then it was great because you didn't know. I think people back then were pretty true to what they were drinking, and now you've got just a whole other demographic in there now that it's some of the newer people. And obviously social media in general being a huge thing. So you get like, you get the people that say, I hate stouts, but I gave this three stars because it tasted like coffee. or whatever. And it's just, I deleted the app. I think it drove me insane. I think PJ and I had some conversations a couple years back of some reviews that drove us up a wall, but I hate it. I'll be point blank. I hate it.
Well, what about you, PJ? You're in the production area. Like, what are you? How do your brewers take it? How do you take it?
I think it's I think it's like a necessary evil, like you said. It's like it's the most used beer rating platform. So there, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. And if someone's on there being like, this sour was terrible, I hate sours. Like, obviously, that person's opinion doesn't matter. But I've looked at it and seen some beers that people have been like, this beer was too bitter, and I've had that taste of that beer and been like, you know what, that person might be right. Like, this beer might be a little bit too bitter and maybe brought down the IBU. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I think it can be either used for good or used for evil.
I think it's based on the user itself, because one of the things that you have no control over is that the second it leaves your facility, how that beer gets treated can be, so many different things. So many different things can happen. It can get hot and cold and lay in the heat, or lay under, lights, or there's just so many things that can happen to that beer that you just can't control, to the point where it could ruin that beer. And it's hard for me to, because there are things like, we're on iTunes, which you can obviously give us a review, subscribe, follow. We appreciate all that. Yeah, a good review, please. I mean, an honest review, we'll say.
Okay.
We talked about it, but we had a couple of lower reviews, and you take it to heart, because you're like, why? At least for me, like, I'm like, why did you feel this way? And we try to reach out to these people and be like, talk to us. Like, what can we do to make our show better? But I think there are too many people who think they know a lot about beer. And I know you guys can't say it, but I can. They don't know shit.
Most people in beer groups, the ones that walk in, tell you how to make your beer better at the brewery. Those people. Is that who you're referring to?
Yeah, those kinds of people telling you that you use the wrong malt build there, PJ.
Right.
I know you've been doing this for years.
I've learned very recently that there's a difference between beer fans and beer groupies. There are a lot of beer groupies right now who are out chasing the newest beer. They're the ones standing in line for hours at the brewery for the brewery only releases that they're not willing to actually branch out and try different beers and learn about beer. They just want the next best thing coming.
Well, you guys mentioned in September you've got a release. Do you have any more releases upcoming in the next couple months, or through the end of the year, that you guys want to promote? That get some hype going.
Yeah, we have one more barrel age this year. It'll be more towards November, and that is I'm super excited for. We took barrel aged Neapolitan, Imperial Neapolitan, and it has been aging for, by the time it's done, it will be 2 years. We're calling it double dipped, and it will be bourbon barrel aged and PJ sherry. I can't think of the word. Brandy. Sorry.
Brandy barrel.
Brandy barrels.
Nice.
Please tell me it's not going to be a brewery only release, so I just stuck my foot in my mouth.
No, you have to go stand in line for hours.
That goes out.
Yeah, you're going to have to stand in a long line. No, it'll be in stores.
Yep.
It'll be awesome. I can't wait.
Are you guys seeing, because Saugatuck has, you guys have been open for a decent amount of time, but Saugatuck's actually gotten, how many breweries now? I think you're at 4 or 5 in that little Saugatuck area. You got Mittens over there.
Well, that's more of a tap house. Are they brewing there? I don't even know.
I'd have to. I mean, we just interviewed Chris.
Chris is my neighbor. I can go ask him. He lives across.
Go ask him. Come back.
Go bring him back.
Bring him back. Guardians over there.
Guardian.
Yep.
They're good. I feel like there's one more that I just can't think of off the top of my head. But if you go to mibeermap.com, obviously it'll tell you. But I'm drawing.
Of us.
Say that again, PJ.
Waypost is just south of us.
Yep. So have you guys seen a lot of people starting to do like brew tours over there, like trying to hit all of them all at once? Now that you have like a little sectional area of people.
You can answer this. I gotta go let the dog out.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think it's been a positive for us for sure. We've always kind of been a little vacation spot, especially Virtue is right down the street from us. Fen Valley Winery is right down the street from us. So I think that people are now kind of just hitting all the spots up, and I see it as a total benefit for us as far as people doing like little winery, cidery, brewery tours.
Yeah, I was actually, now that I realize I was in the wrong S city, I was thinking of South Haven.
Oops.
I mean, it's just a little bit more
Which isn't
south.
too far.
Yeah, I was thinking of Three Blondes and
Haven, there's a
Harbor
lake.
Light. Yeah, it's off 196, easy to get on and off of the freeway. So, that's good. What, like, do you guys do anything in Saugatuck, like any events, maybe not this year, but upcoming, like yearly? You said you mentioned your anniversary party. What else do you guys do out in that area?
There's a chili cook-off every year that we're a part of. I'm trying to think. We're any kind of like street festival downtown, which happened.
Big Venetian Festival.
Yeah, which isn't happening this year, but usually every festival downtown we have beer on tap out there.
Yeah, we try to do our Barrel Age Bootleg Bash, which would have got replaced this year with our anniversary party, but that's not happening.
So
With the lack of festivals going on right now, are you looking at focusing on some more online marketing things or events?
My golf game on the weekends is getting good.
But are you selling beer?
Absolutely. I always push my beer wherever I go. Yeah, without festivals, it's just ride this wave of off premise. It's that's where people are going right now. So we're just trying to make sure the shelves are stocked. You can't do we have a really good marketing team. We're down one person. Like I said, Megan just had her baby, and Robert, who does really well in our social media game. So we put a lot of effort into that. So, but as far as like any more on that we normally do, not really. It's literally PJ make beer fast because we're trying to sell it fast.
So brings up a good point.
So I'm.
Oh, go ahead, Wendy. No,
I'm a face painter, so I definitely get the not having the festivals thing, and I just know that we're scrambling right now trying to find things to replace it. So
that's gotta be tough.
So that brings me to what I wanted to ask you about. You're saying make the beer fast because we're selling it. What about expanding? You're currently in Michigan and Ohio, if I understand.
We're in Michigan. Let me start from the west. We're in Nevada, Missouri, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Colorado. Sorry.
So you have a good expansion out west. Are you planning on expanding further? Because you expand more, you'll sell more.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're out in the Southwest.
That you would think that's the theory, but I mean, I think that the days of the Bells and the Founders, those big breweries that can go national, I think those are over for now, at least. So even though we go out there, we sell some good amount of beer in some of those states, but our core sales are Michigan, Ohio, Chicago, Upper Indiana. It's still pretty close to home is where all of our sales, a big chunk of our sales are.
Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on, talking beer, talking Saugatuck. Obviously, I'm a huge fan because you guys make an amazing brown. Definitely worthy of Best in Show, that's for sure. I feel like this is one of those where I just need to make sure to get your beer. There's a local beer store over here in Ypsilanti called Nick's, so I need to make sure that they start carrying this Bonfire Brown, and they'll have a customer. So you guys are Saugatuck Brew on Instagram. If they want to find you guys in Saugatuck, where are you guys located?
Blue Star Highway.
2948 Blue Star Highway.
There you go.
Is the tap room open right now?
It is.
What about
noon to 8 every day?
Except Wednesdays.
Except for Wednesdays right now.
Okay. And what about
Wednesdays.
Kalamazoo? Is Kalamazoo still open?
Yep, Kalamazoo's still open. I think they have the exact same hours.
Awesome. Of course, they can find you guys on Facebook, Instagram. They know where to find you guys. Again, thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate you telling us a little bit more about Saugatuck and what's going on. I am definitely excited for the Imperial Brown and, of course, the barrel-aged Neapolitan. So that's going to do it for this part of Better on Draft. We will be right back with the Better on Draft podcast.
We all supposed to uplift me, shift me. Everybody set them up Shit's Creek. And I just said something embarrassing to Cheryl Teagues. And I'm aware of tease, but I'm staring at a paradise. High five, bro, singing somewhere. 5 or less sign, think about a rise and decide that I'm gross. And find time with fine folks. I'm some ride or die close. I want to ride a unicycle across the tightrope. Like the battle, I might choke. I might choke the shit out of a rapper with the right quote. I hate to be accused of hyperbole. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, courtesy. Yo, I'm 33. Give a fuck about your diet, serving me. Insert your favorite surgery. Whole goddamn circus is absurd to me. Return to a mercy me, murder modernity permanently. Yeah, big perm picturing some urban weed. But y'all are nervous about a turpentine. Running from the gun serpentine. I've had the perfect week. Earth to dweebs. Since I've learned to tweet, I've been like large extra large. Bars, Escobars. Hardest in cars. Tarnish the stars. Charge at the guards. Garnish with law. Partial cigar. Large extra large.
Fill my pockets with the wallet of a misanthropic pill popper ill. Gotten hit the chill spot. Y'all got the pot of chili hot. Really not dealing with you Billy Bobs. SOB. Silly sob stories getting gory with the Philly cheese. Spill it on my filthy jean jacket. Reenactment of a pigeon crapping. Pissing in your picnic basket. Pitch and catch you sick and fetch. Wiggle like you pitched a tent. Rhymes and beats so sick you wrench. Sitting on your picket fence you hit the deck. Wicket's jaw chop them like a chicken neck. Second best. Something that I'll never be like sick of sex. Pick up checks. Something that I never do. Pickle eggs. Something that I never chew. Get respect. Something that I never knew like revenue. Resolute to evolute. Get up off my level in your devil suit. I don't need your residue. Your resume embellished. Mine is bulletproof. Bully on cues for the fennel soup. A friend of few.
Large extra large. Bars Escobars. Hardest in cars. Tarnish the stars. Charge at the guards. Garnish with law. Partial cigars. Large extra large. Large extra large. Bars Escobars. Hardest in cars. Tarnish the stars. Charge at the guards. Garnish with law. Partial cigars. Large extra large. Exhausted in a soft spot, soft, but I get off, and I thought I might be a great one, but Nathan, what I make from the songs that I make in layman's, I'm a straight bum, dumb how I radiate, radio made with love, integrated, I'm a grade above, ayo, I'm patient with impatient love, saintly for my space and funds, forever keep a face of fuss, amazingly your taste buds, never make a fuss, I was made a son in 81 and 98, I take some drugs, a couple major ones, still not emaciated, taste the crumbs, turn up the bass to let the basic bump. Banal to my blood stain the avenue. Cats are cool, cashes roll. And we catching all the cancer too. Passing while we chanting mood. Laughing at the man still I'm pushing up the daffodils. Low hanging fruit. Don't hang with you and yours. She got low bangs. And you the human and a humidor. Slow change the views. Movement of a troubadour. All in all I'm smart enough to know what stupid's for. Low hanging fruit. Don't hang with you and yours. She got low bangs. And you the human and a humidor. Slow change the views. Troubadour, true, all in all, I'm smart enough to know what stupid's for.
Bittersweet sounds, one in the street town. Syndicates drowned by the litigants, hung by our ligaments. Workers losing benefits, criminal interest in it, claiming they beneficent. We are in a new time. Paradigm shifting and they're telling us we're shiftless when all we do is show off our shifts and shit. Standing on the fiscal clip, polar bears swimming for the coast, post up and bear witness rope thinner than the hair on our chinny chin. Chilling in chinchilla skin, slipping, sipping chivas, chicken littleish. Sky is falling, dying birds, Mark Fitterich. March in the mist, tear gas, cartridge, carcinogen, sniff 'em in.
Forget the sirens and listen to the words I'm saying. Forget the crunch of broken glass under feet. Forget the patterns of light reflected off the edges. Forget the bag, get off the street, yo. Low hanging fruit, don't hang with you and your she got low bangs and you a human and humidor, slow change the news. The movement of a troubadour. All in all, I'm smart enough to know what stupid's low hanging fruit. Don't hang with you and your she got low bangs and you a human and humidor, slow change the news. The movement of a troubadour. All in all, I'm smart enough to know what stupid's for.
In wet dreams, I'm on a jet ski with Lily Sobieski, her chesties, besties, we nasty like Nesty. Rasho Nesterovich, last in the best league. Cash in the check, getting smashed on the bench while you sweat me. Sweat your last album on Etsy. Your dad's got the best weed. Asking about the time your mom met me. He was in the closet breathing sex steam. He's definitely a lefty. Hefty bags full of testy rags. You can catch me in my dressy pants behind the plexiglass. Yo, text me, I text you back. A picture of my dick is sag, dressed up like the eagle on the Mexican flag. Now what's messing with that? What's messing with that? Hey, what's messing with that? Come on, I wanna hold your hand or whatever. I wanna hold your hand or whatever. I wanna hold.
Honey dip is looking superb. I'm only.
And we are back, episode 230, Better on Draft podcast. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you again to Saugatuck Brewing for coming out and talking to us all about their beers. Definitely learned a lot. I did not realize they were all the way out in Nevada and stuff. I thought they were just like a Michigan and Ohio only brewery. So
yeah, that surprised me. I was kind of impressed. They're like Nevada and Colorado. I'm like, okay, so you're hitting the Southwest.
I'm also excited to know that the change of their ESB to Third Bear is also a confirmed. I believe that was actually a Matt Bush theory, so we'll have to reach out to Mr. Bush over there to tell him that he is in fact correct. Which it's not very shocking because again the whole ESB thing scares a lot of people, and I think that's what happens when people talk about Ghetto Blaster over at the Motor City Brewing Works, because Ghetto Blaster is an English mild, and everyone's like, an English mild, what the hell is that? I don't want that. It's not not in my normal lexicon of beer. Which, fun fact, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Guns Akimbo with Daniel Radcliffe. But he's drinking fucking Ghetto Blaster and Motor City Brown.
I remember you sending screenshots of that like about a year ago.
It's a newer movie, so it's definitely been since I moved into this apartment. But I'm literally staring at the beer because it has a very colorful bottle, so you can recognize it on the shelf, which is good for Motor City Brewing Works that they have that type of marketing. But I'm just staring at it, and I'm busy not paying attention to the movie, but trying to figure out what the fuck Daniel Radcliffe is drinking. And sure enough, but I think we came to the realization that he was dating someone from Flint. So he has been spotted in Michigan a bunch, so it's not surprising that, the random ass beer, because that is a very random Michigan beer, that he's drinking in the movie is Ghetto Blaster. But I am going to play the sound, if I can. Apparently there it is. But I feel like, yeah, I got So these new headphones, nobody heard the sound. These new headphones have like different settings, so I got to figure this out more. But it's Robert with the beer news. Robert is not here, so you're stuck with me, Dan, and Wendy. But the news still goes on. Things still happen. So I am just going to go through here and pick something for that Rob wanted to talk about, because Rob, even though he's not on the show, still gave us a lot of great information. And one of the first things that he brings up is that there is a potential can shortage coming into the U.S. I believe there is some updated news on regards to that, because I believe there were tariffs that were slapped onto Canada for aluminum.
Yep.
So I know this is going to make things a little bit different. I don't know if we buy a lot from Canada, but obviously it was enough to where it was a tit for tat on tariffs. But do we? I mean, I think the movement to cans. I mean, if we're looking right here, here's Bonfire Brown, which used to be glass bottled. Most of Saugatuck was glass bottled. Do you see, a chance that we might go back to glass bottles, or maybe a different type of container?
I do. You might not see it at each individual brewery yet, but Coke and Pepsi have both cut SKUs because of the lack of aluminum cans right now.
Really?
So it's already hitting the bigger guys. It's eventually going to hit. I'm drawing a blank of who our guest was last week, and they said, no, we're not having a shortage at all. I'm just thinking maybe the shortage hasn't hit them yet, because I don't think it's odd side. Thank you. It's probably not, because it's not a uniform thing. You're not all getting your cans from the same source, but I think it's coming down the pike if it keeps going on.
I think that's so. The document that Rob posted was from Bro Bible, which was talking about 16-ounce cans. There was a shortage of the 16-ounce cans. Well, I will be 100% honest. I'm as knowledgeable in beer as I am in aluminum production of cans, which is not. I'm just a fan of them. I can open them. I can try to cut the top off of them, and it doesn't work.
I should have tried that. I got that damn thing sitting right there. I just don't want aluminum shavings in my beer.
You won't get aluminum shavings. It's actually, when it works, it's a clean cut. When it doesn't work, it just doesn't cut. So very, very solid. But I'll be curious to see if we're going to be changing a lot of how we purchase, how we intake, and how we how the breweries go, because Oddside has so many SKUs. You want to talk about a lot of SKUs. Oddside is right up there with Shorts in regards to the amount of SKUs that they have, a couple hundred, and bringing out. But I don't know. I feel like obviously the cans are a little bit easier to control weather-wise. You're not going to get light inside it, or you have really shitty cans if you're getting light inside them. I don't know. I feel like maybe we're overreacting a little bit, but that scares me a little bit that you're saying that Coke and Pepsi are cutting SKUs, and that's obviously going to change a lot of future purchases, especially if I can't get my, which you see right up here, Griffin Claw Flying Buffalo set.
I know. What will you do? I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm collecting some more bottles because we're going to be doing and this is going to be a little bit of a giveaway. One or two people, depending on how we want to do this, is going to be invited to a private tasting, and we're going to do a 4 or 5 year vert of all the Flying Buffaloes for the Better on Draft Christmas party. If we're allowed to be around. It might be like Better on Draft Easter 2021 party or something.
We have
like
a
that.
Christmas party?
Well, we were going to have one this year or last year, but then I decided to buy a house and I got too busy with life. We were going to go to Cashew.
Oh, geez. Good to know. I'll have to plan for this because it'll be a great time.
I mean, doing a 5 year vert of all the Griffin Claw Flying Buffalo flavors is going to be great, especially a lot of those older bottles are bombers. So, and then the person that I'm buying the bottles from, I trust, has made a very, very conscious effort in doing their cellar. Continuing up with the news a little bit, there is a little bit of news in regards to TTB violations from Anheuser-Busch. Anheuser-Busch InBev has agreed to pay a record $5 million in compromise, offer and compromise OIC for alleged trade practice violations related to sports and entertainment sponsorships. The Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, additionally, AB's importer and wholesaler permits were suspended for 2 days in Littleton, Colorado, and 4 days in Denver. According to the TTB, the alleged violations of the Federal Alcohol Administration occurred between July 1st, 2016 and December 31st, 2018. They included entering into sponsorship agreements with various entities in the sports and entertainment industries, requiring concessionaires and other retailers to purchase AB's malt beverages and prohibiting them from purchasing specific competitor brands. It's a $5 million. There's a lot more things that happened. It's a $5 million fine. In regards to there, I said it again. 50 minutes later. God damn it, God. Take a drink. I'm doing my best, guys, to be very, very conscious of it. I'm glad I'm noticing it, but this fine was $5 million, which isn't too big for Anheuser-Busch InBev. They have a lot of money, but it kind of opens up for them, if this is the cost it's going to take for them to be able to bully to get into sports and entertainment and just push out any chance of any small company coming in. And when I say small, I don't mean like Saugatuck Brewing. I mean a Founders or Bell's or the Sierra Nevada.
It's funny you mentioned that too. I think back to whatever the hell the State Theater is called. I can't even think of it off the top of my head. They're one of those places where your choices were Bud Light, and not Amstel. There was one other. There's a lot of places like that, and it's actually kind of frustrating. So, but if they're willing to pay that price, what do you actually do? I'll pay my $5 million. I can bully every other brand out of every place we sell, out of every venue. How do you actually combat that?
Well, the hard thing that I think you're going to see is talk about Anheuser-Busch. So what they're going to do is that obviously people want craft beer, so they're going to bring in your Goose Island, Elysian, Wicked Weed, depending on what
your
state
Shock
you are.
Top.
Yeah, well, that's more in the craft E. I'm talking people still think Goose Island is craft beer, as much as that the word is muddied. I still think people are not. They have a lot of money to play with, and they have a lot of control at those places where you could sell a lot of beer. You could sell a lot of, and a lot of it too is part of the distribution. If you're a distributor, if you're not going to buy from more than one distributor and you're just going to buy from one, whether it's a Blue House or a Red House, you're pretty much stuck with what they are going to have. And sometimes you're signing a agreement to where you can't buy from anywhere else. You buy from Fabiano. I'm not trying to nag on anyone specific, but you're buying from Fabiano and they won't let you buy from another house. And it's not Fabiano that does that. It's just the first one that comes off the top of my head because I drove off of 75 recently, and that's where their little sign is. I don't know. I feel these places need to have a little bit more leverage, and I feel like the people with the money shouldn't be able because they have no problem buying out the royalties. They can't. Nobody else can come here except for Budweiser products because they're gonna make that much money back already in doing that. Founders can't come in and just say, "Oh, we want," because nobody wants just Founders. Sure, they have Solid Gold, but no, people want a Bud Light, or people want a White Claw, or people want, all
I have a friend that refuses to drink anything but Bud Light.
Oh, Jesus!
I did a craft beer tour where we got on a bus and went to 4 different craft breweries for my birthday, and we had to stop at a store so that she could get Bud Light on the bus.
No,
so,
come on.
I mean, there are those people that they refuse to drink anything else.
I just don't get that. Sooner, I understand
it's closed-minded is what it is. Let's be honest.
There's a lot of people who the issue is that craft beer is expensive. It's expensive to get into. Why am I going to spend $6 on this pint when I can, it's a $2.50 for a Boomba of Budweiser right here?
Yeah, but think of Sellerman's RIP. They were making beers for that neighborhood, for the Busch Light drinker, for the Bud Light drinker. They were making those beers.
Thrasher.
The Thrasher, yeah. I think the Trasher was one too, if I remember. You got every brewery makes a Pilsner. You have every brewery makes a lager. Are you that scared to try one? Are you that scared to try one though? Come on.
Yeah, but why would I buy $5 for a Pro Pills over at Drafting Table when I can go, a mile down the road and get, $5 worth of, 2 bottles of beer? Like I don't think it's necessarily closed-minded as much as they know what they like, and why am I going to spend more for something I might not like? And I know breweries do a lot in regards to not free samples. I mean, they are free, but, because they want you to be happy. They don't want you to not drink the beer. And I think that's the customer service that we see, and it's one of the few industries you can do that. You can't give a little taste of a whiskey before you sell a shot of it. Some people will.
Like that $50 shot you were knocking back. Like, let me get a sample of that first.
Yeah, let me get you know what? Let me get another sample. I don't know. Sooner or later I'll buy. But with beers, a lot of them, I think it's just the customer service orientation and bringing it back to, these types of, like, you don't want to have to manage a lot of these places' control of their alcohol too, because if you're trying to bring in some type of really good beer, and we've been to these places where they've had Goose Island Bourbon County on draft for a concert, and you're like,
random
why?
place. Yeah, most random place.
It doesn't make sense. Like, I remember what was there's that craft beer bar over at Tiger Stadium or Comerica, and they had like a 3-year vert of KBS there. And you're like, why?
For $15 for an 8-ounce, not like a
for
6-ounce
each,
pour.
Yeah, for each pour. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might not be a good idea for a lot of these places to go, but if you want to sign, especially like a local one, like the Utica, Jimmy John's Field, like that's where a smaller brewery, local brewery like a Kunin or Dragon Mead or Motor City Brewing Works or Brew Detroit could go in there and buy those rights and have the amount of beer. But again, no matter what, people want Bud Light, as Wendy says.
Yeah,
that's true. So, but on the other side of that, I can see where you would have to come up with a good mix, because I've helped people pick out beers for festivals, and in the summertime, people are asking for stouts and even shandies. Some of the soft grade shandy, everybody wanted that one year. Was it the soft grade? There was one of the shandies that everybody wanted that's so high in sugar, but if you're in a festival in the middle of summer in August when it's 98 degrees out there, you don't want them drinking shandies. You want them drinking a light beer so that they'll buy more beer and they can keep drinking. If you give them a shandy, they're going to get drunk and have to go home.
And that makes me think of a summer festival a couple of years ago where Ken's like, no, don't drink the 10% beers right away. And me and Rob proceeded to drink them all day. I mean, right? There are other people that want those. Like, we were drinking the DKML from Founders at one point at like 3 p.m. We were drinking Griffin Claw's Flying Buffalo at like 12:30. I mean,
Gorilla Juice from Ascension.
Yeah, things like that. Unfortunately, that's.
But you were also drinking sample sizes as opposed to.
That's true.
Getting a full size beer.
That's true. We're drinking a couple of ounces versus like, hey, here's my pint of.
Right.
Of malt liquor here. Like, what's up now, guys? Like, which is a good thing, but there's always going to be a variety of that of what everyone wants.
I mean, it's just for me. I think I bring it back to like what was when the Pizzeria was getting built, Little Caesars Arena. That was getting built, and everyone they signed a deal with whatever main house, Budweiser or Miller, and they're like, why isn't Founders doing anything? Why isn't Bell's? And I'm like, they don't have that kind of money, I don't think. Like that.
Probably not.
You're talking huge.
Not for a full house like that.
No, not a major sports arena that holds an NHL and NBA team. Like, you just don't have that kind of money to where, and of course, when you're Mike Ilitch, you're going to the highest bidder, and damn well, people are putting in multi-year, multi-million-dollar bids just to be the person, and a lot of them a lot of them play nice in regards to allowing for other beers to be delivered, because Joe Louis was a rave house. And you had what I always call the rave tent, which was like Dark Horse and Le Fin de Monde and all these imports and local beers that you could get. But, for the most part, you're selling, 3 taps are at every single place. Labatt, Bud, and Bud Light. That's it. Maybe
There are a couple spots at LCA where you can get good craft beer.
Well, I was thinking about right by Nick's seats at Ford Field too. We could get some pretty decent beer that didn't involve Bud Light, Miller Lite.
Yeah, but that was also the thing is that in Ford Field, that's the only place you can go to get M43 or whatever you wanted.
The one spot, yeah. Which we were kind of spoiled at for sitting right by when we used those seats.
Yeah,
I will say that I saw a couple of Goose Island bars when I was at LCA for a couple different concerts in different seats. There was the Goose Island bars.
Yeah.
But then upstairs, there was a brewery where I could go and get local Michigan beer.
Yeah, now that I think about it, Ford Field's definitely a Miller type house, because I remember the Miller Lite passes that Matt Bush got us. Well, me and him. Because you get free parking at my old apartment. We just walk over to Ford Field. I miss those days. Not that we could go to Ford Field for anything these days.
Now you got to drive an hour.
Yeah, I got to drive an hour. Well, I can go to Firekeepers now and go see Dierks Bentley or some shit. Sorry to any Dierks Bentley fans out there. It was the first name that popped in my head. That was like, what's a country name? There was a little bit more in regards to news. Speaking of, like these brewery collaborations, Oscar Blues came out with a mustard beer for National Mustard Day.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oscar Blues Brewery was collaborating with French's Mustard on a beer brewed with the popular neon yellow condiment. The limited edition beer brewed in honor of National Mustard Day does in fact contain a healthy amount of the condiment. French's says it was brewed with 150 pounds of mustard. Surprisingly, Oscar Blues and French's decided to go in a different direction. They describe mustard beer as a tropical wheat beer infused with key lime, lemon, tangerine, and passion fruit. While you can definitely pick up the scent of the yellow condiment on the nose, the mustard flavor isn't as strong as you expected. It's very, very faint. You can pick up a hint of spice on the finish, but by and large, it's overpowered by the citrus. So if you're looking to try a mustard beer for yourself, it's available to order nationwide online through the craft beer marketplace Craft Shack beginning August 1st, and it'll be available at select Oscar Blues brewery tap rooms in Boulder. Boulder, Longmont, Brevard, North Carolina while supplies last. If you happen to be a home brewer, Oscar Blues is actually giving you the recipe. Dan, should we make a mustard beer?
No. How fucking high were these people that came up with this?
I mean, we're talking brewers here. That's not out of the question.
What were you doing when you're like, oh, I need to make this beer. Let's make a mustard beer. No. Get the fuck out of here.
Considering that I tried the ham beer last weekend.
At least that's...
I'm not going to lie. At least I'll try it. It sounds like it's not as mustardy as we think it is.
But it smells like mustard. You're like, oh, this beer smells like mustard. Let me take a sip of this. Like, the fuck?
And like French's yellow mustard. It's not like it's like
It's not Grey Poupon. We didn't make a Grey Poupon brown or anything like that.
I mean, we could. They're gonna give you the recipe of the with the French's mustard. We could make the Grey Poupon variant, the Dijon variant.
Yeah.
Oh, you can make a honey mustard version.
Yes,
even that would probably be better.
Or like the McDonald's hot mustard.
Except
saying.
You've got your yellow fucking tube of mustard that you're pouring into a beer at this point. It's like, no. Get out of here.
Is there a condiment beer you guys would drink, like a barbecue sauce beer or
all right, so I would
ranch
drink
beer?
I'm pretty sure things are out there like this. I'd drink a relish beer or a pickle beer. I'd be down for that.
I know there are pickle beers.
See, I'd totally be down.
I mean, I drink cucumber beers all the time. It's not that far off from the pickle beer.
Cucumber beers aren't bad. You're just adding the salt and the brine, so yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Right. A little bit of vinegar.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of. Didn't they make like it was the pretzel beer. The pretzel beer that Shock Top or whatever made.
You made a pretzel beer?
Yeah, it could go well with the mustard beer.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Pretzels and mustard.
Mix them together. Just mix them together.
I mean,
I won't lie. I would try the mustard beer just because they said you can't tastes. It's not like drinking the mustard. So I would try it just to see. I mean, I drank that 12 bean soup beer at Brewery Becker, and it literally tasted like 12 bean soup, but I'm glad I got the sample size.
Maybe a hummus beer, like
maybe we'll get the Scrapple beer back.
Scrapple. I don't know if Right Brain's still making Magnolista Porter. I actually, because I brought up Twisted Pretzel, I looked it up on Untapped, and I realized that I checked it in 2014. At the hashtag MI Beer Fest. It was in June, so it was not the Summer Beer Fest. And I rated it a half star.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, you were tough.
I mean, I was a little bit. It looks like it's still getting made.
I mean, if you're going to rate it a half a star, why even rate it?
These are better on draft days. He got his stuff together.
I'm assuming.
Yes. This was what I thought I knew about beer, and then I started talking to people in beer and realized I did not know anything about beer. I still don't know anything about beer. Let's go one more article, and I think that's going to kind of call it for the day. I know we have a short staff because Nick doesn't have internet. Rob is busy.
Nick forgot to pay his bill.
Well, hopefully it wasn't his electricity bill. I actually just upgraded to gigabit, so I'm hoping that the stream is going a lot better today in regards to quality.
It seems better.
I'll see it when I play it back later. One of the things that I kind of want to bring up, we kind of touched it last week. Dan, do you guys have like beer delivery out there, like a Drizzly?
We do. We have Drizzly. We have individual breweries delivering everything like that.
Yes. How do you use it at all, or?
I haven't used it, so I thought Drizzly was like a DoorDash or a Grubhub, but I guess it's the individual like stores that deliver. And I live at my previous place when you came out here. We lived like a block away from the beer place. Right now, I live about a block away from the place I go, so I've never actually used it.
Yeah, for me, like I think Michigan needs it. I think this is something that in where we are now, like the ability to be able to, because we already have takeout beer, we have takeout alcohol, so now you can do cocktails to go, which is good, but I don't know how I feel, because when I'm buying a cocktail, there's a specific bar out here in Michigan, over in the Milwaukee Junction area called Kiesling. And whoever is local to Michigan, if you've never been there, 100% one of the best places to go for a cocktail. They did a promotion with Casamara Club, which we had when one of our Dry January episodes with Jason Lavala. And I went to Kiesling, and just the cocktails are so good, but I don't know how it would travel. Like, cocktails traveling, just it's going to get watered down because you're going to want to over ice it, or it's going to get too hot or too cold. There's no temperature control. But what I would love to see here in Michigan is some type of, because you can get alcohol delivered via Meyer, but I think that's it. Like,
so packaged basically, like from the store.
Yeah, I would love to be able to, especially. Because I think it might be two different licenses, but like the Nick's over here has a Cottage Inn pizza, but I can't get beer delivery. Like, I would love to order Cottage Inn and get beer straight from them. But I don't know. I feel like, you saying that you don't use it coming from a place that it didn't exist kind of, makes me wonder if we would use it as much as we think we would.
I don't think you would, because think about it. When you came to visit, we went to the store where you picked up a bunch of stuff. That was a 2-minute drive from where I'm at. We could have walked 2 minutes to another beer store across the street. Where I'm at now, I can be at the beer store / craft beer bar in about 3 minutes. So there's not really a reason to try and order. The only time I think I would use it, number one, if my car was in the shop, but I also had the light rail outside, so I could get on that. It'd be about a 40-minute trip, but I could still get things. Number two, if I was already hammered and wanted some more delivered for some whatever god-awful reason, I wasn't thinking straight. I can't think of a reason why, if I was sober, it's like, I don't feel like making that 6-minute round trip to the store. Everyone thinks they'll use it, because when I saw it, I thought I'd use it too, but it's never come up.
So it'd be more of it's a convenience thing, and obviously you don't want to drive drunk.
Yep.
But at the same token, like you're already drunk. Why would you want to buy more? But I think it might be a little bit more geared towards maybe people hosting a party, or people who birthday events, holiday events, that kind of stuff. I feel like just having the ability. We live in a gig market right now where if you can just add an extra gig or an extra thing to a lot of people who are working gig and who prefer the gig, or want to work extra hours at night. I mean, I would love to be able to just deliver beer to people at night, like make everyone happy. You're making someone's day delivering beer.
Yo, man, here's your Busch Light.
I used
here's
the
your
beer
King
delivery
Cobra.
a lot during the shutdown. I used beer delivery a lot, and I kind of wish that they still did it. Like, now that we can go to the brewery, they're not doing it anymore, and I wish that they could still send it to my house when I needed it.
Yeah,
because I don't always want to take that extra time to go out. I've got stuff to do.
So I think about that now. So when you order for delivery, are you expecting in a certain amount of time? Because the one brewery near me that'll deliver, you order and it'll come the next day between noon and 6. So you got like a 36-hour, 32-hour turnaround.
Well, you're
like,
talking.
do I want to wait?
You're talking
Yeah,
from
like
a brewery, whereas I'm talking from a store. Like I'm if I'm buying beer, I'm probably not buying it from a brewery. Like I'm probably going to a store.
Oh, so you're talking about like Drizzly. So if you're ordering from like Drizzly, that's still a 1 or 2 hours, so that's not as bad. So, but I mean, do you have any beer delivery out there? I remember Ember used to deliver.
Well, that's back during the whole if you buy hot food, because you had to buy French fries or pizza or whatever
right.
from Embrew to be able to deliver. And those were growlers too. I don't think they didn't have too much package over there.
No, it was all growlers. You're paying like full price too for the growlers. It was like, here's your $30 growler. It's like, all right, like what you got for me?
I don't know. I feel
did
like
cost a lot more. I'm not gonna lie, but I was okay doing it because I was given to the brewery that I was coming from. But
well, I think a lot of them are focusing.
Though,
I was gonna say, I think a lot of them are focusing obviously on working inside the brew house right now. Like a lot of them, they didn't have anything to do. Nobody was coming to the brewery, so they had the staff that could deliver. Now it's just like, well, I need you to work. I need you to serve.
But it is one of the things that I miss.
As you mentioned it, I think about it. Like I ordered from Corner today, and I had to go pick it up because they don't do delivery anymore. They just do curbside. And we got beer delivery from Corner, and I think a lot of the rules were pretty lax. Like not too many. The MLCC was not coming after anyone during this time because as long as you were checking IDs, maybe they were trying to do a few little sting things because it's the MLCC, so they're trying to do something crazy. Guys, that's going to do it. Better on Draft 230 is going to be in the books. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, obviously North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan. And, of course, if you were to use a Drizzly in Michigan, you could order from Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills. I actually just went to Zatuna on Saturday. I went to Clubhouse, the new Griffin Claw Brewery, which was formerly Clubhouse BFD. And I was getting $1 an ounce pours of Flying Buffalo variants that were like 3 to 4 years old.
Wow.
So, a 4-ounce pour for $4 wasn't too bad, especially for beers. And then they still do half offs on Sundays. So you could have technically went there for 50-cent ounce pours of some of their beers. That was good. I actually went over to Brown Iron too. And they were busy as all hell. When you get in there, they have a phone number. Like you don't even walk in. They say call us. If you don't have a reservation, you call. So we called and we're like, hey, we got 2 people. Can we come in? And they're like, yep. So we walked in and got a seat. And people were social distancing, masked up as much as possible. I didn't see too many people crazy. One thing that I have noticed, I don't know if you guys see it, Dan, in Arizona. I don't know the breweries you follow. We're seeing a lot of breweries having to post like, please be nice to our staff.
Oh yeah, and it's insane the way people act around here. And I've seen it was that Mitten that had to post something about that too? People were harassing their
Yeah,
their staff.
Mitten posted, I believe it was their hostess, who was telling people to like put on masks and stuff, and that was a pretty widely spread post. But like Drafting Table had to put something up. I think Paw did. There's so many of them. I don't want to accidentally say the right or wrong names, but they're just like, fucking be nice to people, guys. Like this is they're being told what they need to do, the staff, and they're telling you what they're being told, so you just deal with it. Like it's not that hard. I don't get it. I don't want to go down the mass debate because there is no debate where it
Yep.
But that's the thing is that be nice, tip on takeout, tip everything, tip your staff. Go ahead.
And remember, it's creeping up the Midwest. It's flaring in Ohio right now, so have fun with that.
Wendy, you were going to say something?
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about my grandma.
Oh my gosh. Let's save that story for next week.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's a story that Rob and Nick definitely want to hear.
Nick asks every week. So
yeah, the grandma shenanigans story. You guys will love it. Stay tuned next week, episode 231. That will be next week is going to be with Listerman Brewing out of Ohio. We got some great Listerman beers that we're going to be drinking on the show. Sorry, Dan. And then
there was nothing of value that I wanted to put in my mouth from what you showed me.
Man, you're missing out, buddy.
Probably not.
And then on the 21st, as long as things don't go too shit here in the state, we'll be live.
It's a good beer.
We'll be at Rocky Road Ice Cream Stout. You know what? They had the Neapolitan. You know what? I'm surprised I haven't necessarily seen
What's that?
Superman ice cream beer.
Dude, I would kill for that.
Oh.
If it actually tasted like Superman ice cream.
That would sell like crazy.
By the way, we can get that out here because we have a guy from Detroit that opened 3 Coney Islands out here, and he gets it shipped from Michigan.
Does he really?
So, yeah.
I know.
Awesome.
I know you mentioned about it. Is it just Detroit-style Conies, or does he do anything else Detroit? Like,
dude, he does everything.
Better Made Verners.
He's got Better Made Verners. He's got Saunders Hot Fudge. He's got Bumpy Cake. Oh, yeah, it's straight up. Like if you're at a Detroit,
I
Coney Island.
never knew until I started hanging out with friends on the west side of the state that Conies weren't normal.
Oh, it's totally a Detroit
everywhere
thing.
else.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a Coney Island that's open at 2:00 in the morning?
It is a Michigan thing, and then the Detroit-style Coney is different than the Jackson Coney, which is different than the Flint Coney. Like, there's different types of Conies, too. And then the big get that we're getting at the end of the month, along with Listerman, is we're going to have Weathered Souls on to talk about Black is Beautiful.
The 28th?
The 28th, that is correct. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to like us on iTunes, subscribe, give us a rating. I always say 5 stars, but be honest. If you're going to give us a 2-star rating, talk to us. Tell us.
I'll probably come after you if it's less than 5. I've already tried. Ken's like, no.
We have, I want you to be honest because the show
come
is
after you from Arizona.
The show is the show's for you guys, so that's going to do it. Better on Draft 230. No matter what you think of your beer, we think it's better on draft. Support MI Brewing. Have a good night.
Peace.